is going on? It's Obadiah, and today we are back with another episode of Music Hideout, the show where we hang out with artists, musicians, and entertainers in Waylon Jennings' old basement studio. As always, I am gathered here today with co-host Ryan Poole, who I'll pass it to introduce the guest.
Well, tonight on Music Row Hideout, we have a less than average guest. And I'm just kidding. So every week I'm like, we have a very special guest. And Drew's like, you can't say that every week. And I'm like, we have a super special guest. So tonight I went the opposite way.
Wow.
To your shame and to my great dishonor.
Well, I'm okay with it.
Poor self-esteem.
Wow, that's sad. You shouldn't be okay with that.
Well, tonight our guest is Wesley Baertsch,
Oh my God.
a local San Diegan native.
Oh my God.
Originally from San Diego.
Oh my God.
Unlike almost all people on Earth.
one of the few.
One of the proud,
few.
the brave,
Wow.
the Marines,
Nope.
the San Diegans.
Is that the order?
Yes.
That's the forgotten part of that slogan.
And Wesley is a photographer, videographer, and just general all-purpose creative type of fellow. He also does graphic design, a little bit of animation, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but we'll get into that. But his primary thing is photography and videography. And we've known Wesley for years. In fact, Wesley came with me on the first trip when I moved to Nashville. He was on that trip, and we didn't really hardly know each other before then.
No.
But now
Weird
we've been
going a
great
long
friends
trip
ever
like
since.
that without knowing each other that well.
It is.
Yeah.
So true story.
Yeah, you need to know his intentions.
Well, let's save that. Why would I invite?
Intentions?
Why would I invite? Yeah, what were my intentions with Wesley? Why would I invite a kid that I hardly know to come with me on a road trip?
Because he would,
Coming
and
up.
you'd go on a road trip with anybody because you're a whore.
That's true, but there's more to the story. We'll get there. We'll save that one. But Wesley, what are we drinking tonight?
A whiskey mule.
So what is this?
Excluding the
is the
bitters.
mule part in this already, or is
No,
this
that's just whiskey
This
because
is
it didn't all
just
fit
whiskey.
into the decanter.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, we're just missing, bitters.
And
But
what-
And mint.
What kind of whiskey are we?
Depending on who you
mint
ask.
is the garnish. You don't need the mint.
What kind of whiskey are we drinking?
Bullet.
Bullet
Nice.
bourbon.
Classic. Always like a good bullet.
Okay, so how do we make this drink?
So you did some lime juice, which I
Side
have.
plug: Jury just recently started a making drinks YouTube channel. So
That being said, I'm still looking it up to make sure we get the right amounts because I don't know.
to be fair, that's what you do on your
Yeah,
show
I don't
too.
know the
Yeah,
right
fair
amounts
enough.
either. I've always just eyeballed it. So.
Yeah, I just guess. But hold on, I have to scroll through the vlog on the cooking site to get to the actual ingredients. There we go. It's like 2 ounces whiskey, ginger beer, and lime juice. This says an ounce of lime juice. That's clearly ridiculous, and you'll die if you drink an ounce of lime juice. So we're just going to ignore that recipe and do whatever we want.
Okay,
Perfect.
yeah, lead us in
Sure.
this drink.
So this is the lime juice, freshly
the ice.
squeezed. Yeah, that's not awesome. Well, I'm going to mix it first. I'm just going to do a little bit like a boop of lime juice. Maybe a little more like a
Okay, so a boop and an eh.
boop and a
boop. Eh.
Beautiful.
You're completely missed the glass.
Yeah, but you know what?
That's fine.
No
I feel like that's a lot of lime juice. You know.
it does. And I'm going to put this to about the halfway mark with this. Because why
Okay.
not?
No, this
I'm
is
just guessing here, so don't feel free to differ from the recipe, and then I'm just going to put some ice in it.
so Wesley. We always like to start with a question.
Yeah. How did you get into music?
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, maybe it's right now.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Maybe this could be the answer. Let's teach you something on the piano. Okay, Jaws theme.
got it?
Just those
Yeah.
2 notes.
Okay.
You could do it now. That's how you got into music.
so I can play piano now.
Yes. You can officially put on your resume that you are a pianist.
Yeah.
So okay, so we
I
have
don't know
to
how that
change
helps
it.
me, but
Hey, Nathan. Former
Matt.
guest Nathan Sepulveda is in the audience tonight.
That is delightful, by the way. What I just told
Okay.
you to do makes a fucking great drink.
Just you hear that you heard it here. You heard it here first, folks.
first.
Whiskey Mule.
A
Fucking good
boop
drink.
and an eh of lime.
That's how I do all my measurements.
So Wesley, how did you get into photography?
Dude, I don't know. I got a camera when I was in high school and started taking pictures of my friends when we'd hang out because we were dumb high schoolers and we lived in the suburbs and we had nothing else to do. And kind of never stopped shooting.
So in high school.
Yeah.
So you're a few years younger than us.
Yeah, I graduated in 2011.
So when you were in high school and got said camera,
Yes.
that was already in the era of
Digital.
everyone having the camera on their phone.
Everyone had Yeah, everyone had cameras on their phones. It was readily available, but they were still really low quality.
Like iPhone 3G or
I kind of think,
I don't
well, I think that's the
know.
hard
guess they
part.
were
What generation of
actually that good.
iPhone was it? It had to be like
2000. What do you say? 9?
it was maybe my like freshman year. So yeah, I mean that had to be an early iPhone.
Yeah. So when did the first iPhone come out? 2005,
6,
6,
7.
7.
Austin, can you confirm it was 2007? The first iPhone? Austin works at the Apple Store. You should know this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's required, or else they
Don't show
fire
this.
you.
Yeah, don't show this to your boss. But probably for other reasons than just that. So
Yeah. So, but I would think, because I think nowadays a difficult thing with, like, I know I had never thought, why would I buy a camera? I have my phone, and I don't need to do anything better than that.
Well, yeah, there was way more of a market for DSLRs back then because you didn't have the type of cameras you have now on your phone. You can,
They're ridiculous.
yeah, they're absolutely ridiculous.
Yes, it was 2007.
yes.
Confirmed.
There you go.
Googled that shit.
Do you mind pushing your mic just a little bit more so it's like pointed at your mouth? Like push it in that way.
Well, I mean, I got to scoot it a little bit.
Or scoot it, you know? Give it a good
do
old
a
scoot.
scoot.
There you go.
There we go.
So wait, for the folks at home, what's a Dizzler?
Yes.
Oh, a Dizzler?
Yeah.
A Dizzler is a digital single reflex lens camera.
I believe you got those out of order.
Single lens reflex. Wait, what did it?
Are you even a photographer?
Am I even a photographer? What is it? DSLR,
Digital
single lens reflex.
Okay. What does that actually mean?
It means that when you look into the viewfinder, there's mirrors that create a prism that allow you to look through the lens that you're actually taking the picture with. Before DSLRs, or before any SLR for that, for the point, right? Like there was TLRs, which you see those old film cameras that kind of look like little rectangles, two lenses stacked on top of each other. Like old Rolleiflexes and Hasselblads. That was a very common style of camera pre-SLR because you had one lens that you can look through to focus and frame your composition, and then the other lens was the taking lens that allowed you to actually capture the image. Then DSLRs came out and they put prisms in your camera, and now you can look through the lens, and that's what made it all different. So you're way more accurate with your framing.
Okay.
Because
Just
there's
like
no parallax.
I remember the old 35 millimeter cameras
Yeah.
that we'd have as kids, and like it was like a piece of plastic you look through.
Yeah, so
and you
that's a
just saw-
rangefinder. And rangefinders were really common before SLRs.
So basically, we were looking at like this is kind of about sort of similar to where the lens is. But
Yeah, and
now
then they
DSLR
made-
allows you to see right through that thing.
They made very elaborate pieces of equipment to help you get over that hurdle of framing things different or accurately. So, like, if you had a TLR, twin reflex camera, you would frame through the top lens and you'd have it on a tripod. And then once you're framed, while it's on the tripod, you could pull a lever or like a little dial, and it would lift the camera to the same height that your
Weird.
your viewing lens was at. So then you know.
So you can't view it and take the picture. You set it up,
Yeah.
then put it into place and take the picture.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah. So it's a whole different process. It's way slower. And then
makes
if you're gonna try to take pictures of something up close or a portrait or something, you're way less accurate.
So how do you go from like what? I have a camera. Hey Austin, click. Like. Whoa.
I don't know why you're bringing Austin into this.
No, Austin, his friend Austin
Yeah,
Pion.
I got it. Yeah.
Jesus.
You're like, let up on Austin, damn
Yeah,
it.
dang, all day.
So how do you go from that to like knowing what a TLR is and like getting
gosh.
into it? Like, what's the entry point? Why did you decide to become a nerd about this one thing? What's appealing about it?
I mean, what's appealing about music for you?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Way to flip
It's the same.
script.
It's the same.
Flip the
It's like
script.
anyone experiences like a moment of, they get joy from something, and
you just do shit you like
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you do shit you like it.
Like, I want to do
and-
that shit more.
So what did you like about it?
I'm not even sure, honestly. I think it had a lot to do with you react or you interact with people differently when you're behind a camera and you're trying to. I felt like there was sort of like a weird responsibility when you're taking a picture, back then at least. Nowadays, anyone can take a picture and do whatever, and it takes like no time to even take a picture. But it almost felt like I had more power when I was behind a camera, that whatever picture I was taking meant something. Whether it's just a memory or like I'm going to post this somewhere and it's going to be used for something. But that like interested me, is that you walk through your everyday life and you experience things, but the second you put a camera around your neck, then you start interacting with the world in a different way. And just the fact of having a camera with me, like, and experiencing that, like, drew me to it. And so I've always been interested in photographing life and just in general, whether that's people, ordinary places, still lives, anything that I feel represents what's going on in my life right now, or somebody that I'm close to or working for. I think that's an interesting thing about photographs, because before we had phones in our pockets that are the equivalent of $3,000 cameras.
Sound a little bitter about that.
Before you norms could have a camera.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it. I went to New York and I brought 2 cameras with me. I brought my iPhone and I brought a point and shoot little Olympus film camera, and that's all I brought. And I use my phone half the time, if not more.
So is it really that good?
Yeah, it's really great. It's really,
That's
really great,
crazy.
especially with certain apps. If you have an older generation iPhone, like mine, I don't have the Pro, the 11 Pro. So it's only got 2 lenses. So when you're doing like
Only
portrait
2.
mode, you get like weird artifacting with the blur, the algorithmic blur that it does. And you can download apps to like fix all that. So
But like, if you have
can
like
fake it
let's say
really easy.
you,
Yeah.
a professional, were to take the iPhone,
Yes.
or whatever phone of your choice, the subpar iPhone, and then take a real $3,000 camera and try to take the exact same picture, how close could you get?
There's a lot of variables that come into play, like what
Okay,
lighting.
sure.
Like how much-
Same lighting, is the
Yeah.
exact same scenario.
Well, yeah, but
the
like,
only difference is the camera.
Is it like a heavily contrasty situation where there's a lot of light dynamic range? Is what sort
What
of
is light
colors?
dynamic range?
Yeah,
So
you have to
like,
explain everything.
okay, your dynamic range, your light latitude, right? It's your difference in your photo between your brightest white and your darkest blacks.
I'm just better than you.
Jesus.
Damn, I gotta
Podcast
catch up.
listeners,
I know.
I finished my whole drink.
Yeah, what a beast.
Also, I haven't eaten since breakfast this morning with Wesley. We had breakfast together.
Yeah.
fair enough.
And I'm probably going to be drunk. I ordered food to try to prevent that, so we'll see what happens.
It'll be too late. It already is.
But
Now,
yeah,
Wesley, sorry, this is really
Yeah.
important. You
Yes.
don't know because you haven't listened to our podcast before.
Wow, jerk.
And just side context, Wesley is just like in town to hang out with me and our friend Nathan. Episode 5, 6, 7. Nathan was a previous guest.
Yeah.
Sepulveda, look him up. And he's here to take some photos, and maybe we'll talk about that later. He's gonna take some photos of some different music artists. But anyway, so you don't know this, but we are the Whole Bottle Podcast.
True.
that's fine.
Wow.
It just made
Wow.
sense
He's
to
like,
you right
you know
away.
what? That's fine.
You just accepted it.
And then he pours another drink. This is the kind of guest I'm talking about. We've had some guests that don't drink their fair share recently.
Right, and it makes
Figure it out.
us either really
Make us a little
drunk or
stronger.
like have to like
Be sad that we didn't finish the whole bottle.
exactly that we like have given up our title, and it's just a crying shame.
It is a crying shame. But don't worry, things will be different now. Now that we have Wesley here with us,
Things are different now.
Yeah, I get that one a lot.
What?
Did you say Leslie?
No, I said Wesley. No?
But that
Wesley,
happens a
no.
lot.
Does it? You're just like already ready for me to insult you.
Oh, this is nice.
I know, it's fancy,
Shout
right?
out to Leah Lawrence who bought this
Yeah. She was
fancy
on
decanter
episode,
for me.
The way you say that last
The
name.
Christmas
I'm
one.
the Christmas
Lawrence.
episode.
Lawrence. I don't always say it like that, but it just how it came out. But wow, this is like so fancy. She bought me this for Christmas, and wow, I love it.
Now we have it on the show.
Um,
So now we don't have
Pass
to put
some of the ginger
logos of what
Ginger
drinks we're drinking unless they pay us.
yes. So
So fuck you, Bullet.
Yeah.
you just gave him a
I
shout
know.
out. You
I
ruined it. You ruined it.
But anyways,
You take pictures or something.
you take pictures and shit.
Yeah.
So
I do.
Wait, the point.
Okay,
we were
your
on-
point was so. Okay.
Yeah.
assuming-
How different is a camera, like a camera phone, compared to like a $3,000
Yeah,
camera?
like how close can you get?
Really damn close.
Oh, that's so sad, isn't
Depending
it?
on the lighting situation and depending on what you're going for, yes.
So for like a not a regular person who doesn't know what they're doing, but someone who
Okay.
like knows a little. What they're doing.
Let's give a phone, right? Doesn't have to be an iPhone. It could be like a Pixel, whatever. Any upper end, higher end phone camera is capable of taking really good photos if you put it in a good situation. If you put it in some situation where it's like
a good
backlit,
situation, meaning like super good light.
yeah,
like,
really good light with nice colors. You already have a good composition, and everything's kind of working for you.
Yeah.
Sure, the camera can take a really, really good photo, but you have to work harder for it, and it's got limitations. I don't think it's always going to be that way, and it'll be really exciting when we can carry around a camera that's as good as that one there in our pockets. But the thing about owning a camera that's like a nice DSLR or like a film camera is a lot of, like, you have way more flexibility. You can change the lenses. If you're shooting film, you can choose what film stock you're shooting. If you're shooting digital, you can edit the files in a much more elaborate way than you can with like a phone photo. You're dealing with JPEGs.
No, why is that? It's just because it's JPEGs, not RAW
Yeah,
files?
JPEGs versus RAW files.
Okay.
JPEGs are compressed. They auto sharpen. Contrast is usually baked in. And saturation, even if you desaturate or bring saturation up, the colors just kind of lose their tonality a bit. And if you're dealing with RAW files, it captures all of the data. Even if you don't see it on the screen at the moment, you can bring data into what you're seeing because it's in the file. It's captured there. You just have to choose if you want it there or not.
And because of all the extra data, that's why the file sizes are so much larger.
Yeah, they're so much larger, and that, like, even it's very similar to like 4K, right? So you can film on your phones in 4K,
Sure.
but it never looks as good as like filming on something like an Arri Alexa.
what is an Arri Alexa?
An Arri Alexa is a big cinema camera used in the majority of Hollywood films. And
Give me one of those.
specifically
You can just
the
pick one up for cheap. Okay.
yeah, you can pick one up. Like, I mean, they're only like $30,000 maybe.
Chump change.
A cool 30K.
But
Why not get two then? In case one should break.
and Alexa, like the Mini, was used for more films that won awards than any other camera for the last like 10 years,
Wow.
or since it came out.
Strange that it's called
Whatever.
Alexa. So I can also go, Alexa, turn all the lights red.
I actually haven't reset up my Alexa.
Son
to
of a
the-
bitch, that
to
would have
the
been
new-
great.
Damn.
Yeah, I haven't set up my Alexa to the new Wi-Fi yet. So,
Damn it. Well, all right.
Austin, would you mind setting up the Alexa? Really quick? Just kidding.
Then rewind so we can do that again. No.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Okay.
That camera isn't even 4K. It's 2.5K. But
Really?
yeah, it's 2.5K.
And they're making full-on movies with it, like real movies. You mean I'm going to a movie theater, paying all that money,
Not even
and
watching
they're not even giving me a
4K?
full 4K? They're only giving me 2.5K.
Two and a
That's
half
some
K.
bullshit.
I want my 1.5K.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not just about resolution. It's about bit depth, which is very complicated and weird to get into. But it long story short, it captures way more detail and information than like something smaller like a phone can, because our phone's sensor is like this big.
Tiny little guy.
Yeah, it's tiny. And something on like a big camera, your sensor is this big.
Now mine's smaller because I have a
Yeah,
crop
yours is
sensor,
smaller,
right?
But still, yours is probably 5 times the size of something in an iPhone. And you got a better processor in there, so it's processing your files faster, and it can process them even if it's compressing in a better format than your phone can.
Okay. So let me adjust the question a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's say it's not a phone.
Okay.
But let's say it's a top of the line Canon whatever.
Yeah.
1D or whatever the fuck it is. Versus entry level.
Food's here.
Thank you.
Hey, baby.
Food's
Wesley,
Yeah.
remember earlier today when you said to me, we got to get hot chicken while I'm here?
Yeah.
Here
Here's
it
the
is.
hot chicken.
I've delivered on my promise.
Is it still hot though?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do you understand the hot's means spicy?
Yeah, I know. But I was.
Doesn't mean it's like,
yeah.
oh, yeah, it's like 200 degrees.
Yeah, it's crazy. It burns
the
your
shit
mouth.
out of your mouth.
We love it.
But I mean, like, how long
ruins
did
your
the driver
soul.
take to get here? You know.
No, not that long. Orlando picked it up.
like 3. It's like right down the
15
street.
minutes
It's pretty
ago.
close.
His real name was Orlando, by the way.
Oh, I grabbed
you know
the
how the
fries.
Uber Eats app says that to you? It's like, Orlando picked up your food. Let's go.
Anyway,
Anyway.
so assuming you're comparing
Orlando's like a landscaper's name.
or like a bloom.
Yeah.
That's the only Orlando I know.
Sure,
Bloom and
we're
the
going
one
to be
in
eating.
Florida.
You're going to have to go ahead and make the
just
show
monologue for like 20 minutes while you guys eat. This is why we don't order food on the show.
Remember your phrase earlier? No, that was. Remember you made a great phrase earlier. Corey Beth was there for it. What was it? It was.
Now you'll never remember.
You remember
I do.
because you remember
Hold
all
on to
your
that
phrases.
shit for later.
Damn it! What was that phrase? Oh man. I'll be re-surprised when you bring it up again. I don't know if you know this about Jury, but he comes up with like catchphrases.
Not intentionally.
No, I know.
It just happens. He says like something one time and it goes over well, and so he saves it and like uses it forever.
That's true because one of the best.
I remember it. I remember it. He said, see, you said, we were talking about how many times Wesley's been here. It's like, oh, it was my 4th time or blah, blah. And Wesley and Jury said, oh, this is only my 2nd time here, or 2nd time visiting, or something like that.
Now, when you say it, it doesn't really have the same flow, does it?
Yeah.
It would no.
I don't quite have my
Can you
inflection.
give the catchphrase?
I can't. It has to be natural. I can't force a catchphrase. You know,
And it was just great because you live here,
Ryan
so
asked
it's
me how many
unexpected.
times I've been to Nashville.
Wesley, how many times have you been to Nashville?
Maybe this is my
You're
5th
trying to
time.
force the catchphrases. I can't just regurgitate. I'm not some kind of circus animal.
Aren't
you?
though?
A little bit. A little bit.
So maybe we should talk about.
Whoa there.
Whoa.
No, wait, hold on. I still want to know.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not done here.
Okay.
Top of the
top
line
of the line Canon camera.
versus entry level. How close can you get?
There's a big
Wait,
difference.
entry level camera, or
Entry
Canon camera, or entry level. Like,
my
phone?
camera versus a 1D because I have the entry level, right? I don't have the cheapest. I have like the second cheapest.
Again,
Like for me, I'm not going to know the difference, but for
yeah.
someone who does know,
if you put the exact same lens on each, you can get pretty similar results. Your main difference is going to be in file size and clarity when you're zooming in. Which is why a lot of times if you're shooting like a big ad or marketing campaign, you use higher end cameras because they just capture a lot more megapixels, right? And megapixels is only useful for, everyone thinks it just means like better, but what it means is like actual size of the image. So if something is 10 megapixels, it can only be blown up to like X amount.
Before it starts looking like distorted.
Yeah, before it starts getting all
Blurry.
pixelated and fucked up.
Sure.
But
Oh, we actually don't cuss on the show.
oh yeah,
Did you give him the rundown for the show?
No, I told him nothing.
No. We usually have a rundown where we tell the guests
How
we
the
cuss
show
on the
works.
show. It's fine. You can cuss.
Yeah,
Anyway,
we didn't do that.
but you can't say the C word
That's right. Not allowed on the show.
or racial slurs. Yeah, the listeners should
All
know.
the normal things
Yeah.
like that you shouldn't say anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't say those things, and we'll be fine. But anyway, so you were saying it's so it's pretty
Yeah.
similar, but not quite.
yeah.
Hello.
You'll
Hello,
definitely get
Krinsky and Tadgy in the chat.
you'll definitely get more detail out of something that's higher end than you would out of something that's lower end. And then the biggest thing is just convenience again. You get way more features the higher up you get. So if you have something that's really high end or flagship, then there's basically no limitations of the camera.
None.
Well, I mean,
No
there's
limitations?
always limitations of some cameras, right? But to today's standards, right? Like you're used to like what the norm might be, and you might have a lot of luxuries with the camera. It might be really convenient to use, really quick to change settings, really comfortable to hold. The button layout might be really well placed, and it just might make sense. And it might be weather sealed, so you can take that thing in pouring rain and feel comfortable shooting in
Which
it.
mine is not.
And these are all things that you wouldn't care about unless you're using a camera every single day of your life, and the ergonomics matter to you, and certain features that are left out of lower end cameras, you need those because it makes your life easier.
Now, ergonomics wise, at least compared to Ryan's camera, which is the Mark IV. Or Mark. What
You
is
have the
it?
Mark II.
Mark II. Yeah. Sorry. Mine's way more comfortable to hold. It's like
Yeah.
lighter and more comfortable, and like it just fits in my hand better.
Well, it's like
Obviously, his is way more
Yeah.
features. His is much higher end.
his is a lot older too,
It's
though.
also, yeah, I guess it's true. It is older. But like the first time I picked up his camera after owning mine, I was like, oh my god, it's like a brick. This is yours. This is mirrorless, right?
Yeah, it's got your lens on it, but that's
that is my lens.
That's an EOS R.
Yeah, see, this is like much more manageable weight. Mm-hmm. Like his is, I feel like another 50% more than this. Oh, you want to half shutter me?
Yeah.
So there's like features I get with that camera that are great.
Now I do like this. I like that it's thinner. It's thinner. It's like it's definitely
That's
lighter
because
than
it's
yours.
mirrorless. With the
Well, it has a little
mirrorless too.
screen on top.
Yeah, you get the screen on top, so you can change all your settings without having to look at the back display. It's really convenient. Full touchscreen.
So this is the
there's
EOS
just, like,
R.
I can go on and on and on, but it's not necessary. The point being, there's a lot of features of this camera that make it desirable and would make someone willing to pay the amount necessary to buy one. But that's only if you're using a camera on a daily basis. Like, I don't expect someone who's just getting into photography to go out and want to buy one of those.
Yeah, what does that cost? Like
You don't need that.
$2,000.
That one's around $2,000.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like I've seen that price.
It might be a little bit cheaper now because there's rumors of new one coming out, but
Yeah, I saw there was like the EOS R and like the EOS RT. And
There's
the
an
EOS R
RA.
this and the R that. And I was
Yeah.
like, ah.
but there's like I mean, if you're sitting in a chair every day of your life, right? You're a streamer, so you know.
Yeah.
It's worth it to you and for you to invest in a really good chair.
And I did.
Yeah,
I bought
absolutely.
an expensive as fuck chair.
Yeah, because I mean, you're not going to want to sit there and sit on a shitty broken chair with like no lumbar support and
Also done that.
that's
It's the
really
worst.
really uncomfortable.
Yeah, makes sense.
But if you're just if it's just like patio furniture and you're only using it every once in a while and you're sitting on it for max of like 30 minutes at a time, then that's all you need, you know? But it's your daily driver. You need something that's going to really work for you. So that's the big reason why you would invest in something so expensive is it works for me and it has everything that I want to be readily available for me like instantly. I can like change settings, work through the camera without even having to look at it because everything's laid out in a way that I know and it's comfortable for me. But like on lower end cameras, like you can't even get to some settings without hunting through the menus. Like there's just no other way.
I have ran into that. There's a couple things I've been trying to find. I'm like, where do I do this basic ass thing that I know I can do so simply? But now I feel like I should just bought a second phone and use that as my other camera. Sounds like that would have been a better choice. But I do like, I'm pretty new to the world of taking pictures. And so, you know, I got what I got because I'm using it as a streaming camera, not really for photography.
Yeah.
Then I was like, since I have it, I might as well learn as well. So I bought a couple, you know, basic lens stuff. I think I told you about that already.
Yeah.
But, but after I bought it and started looking on internet things, everything seemed to say, don't buy a DSLR, buy a mirrorless camera. And I was like, I wish somebody had told me that first. But the truth is, I don't even know the difference. Except for, I mean, I know you have the mirror. Is that the only difference? Is that's not there?
Yes.
So besides that,
because you don't have a mirror, you're not able, when you look through the viewfinder, you're not actually looking through the lens. You're looking at a digital screen that is projecting what the sensor is seeing. So like, if I open up my camera right now, there's the sensor.
right?
Just
see, right in there,
exposed.
just sitting in there.
Yeah, it's got a curtain over it right now because it does that when it's off. But if I turned it on, it would lift up, right?
Okay.
So generally, there's a mirror there, so you're looking down and you're actually looking at mirrors to be able to see through the lens.
So you're seeing the actual physical world. You're
Right
actually seeing what
now-
you're really seeing.
The sensor is communicating with the screen on the inside of your viewfinder and projecting what the sensor is seeing. So one of the conveniences is if you change a setting on a DSLR with a mirror, you're changing settings and not knowing what that's going to look like when you're looking through the viewfinder. Once you take a picture and look at the back screen, then you can see what that looks like.
Yeah, that's right.
With a mirrorless camera, if I change settings while my eye's up to the viewfinder, I'm instantly getting live updates of what that looks like.
Okay, then let me ask you then. So both on a DSLR and on a mirrorless camera, what are the benefits of using the viewfinder as opposed to just looking at the screen?
I mean, a lot of people nowadays that are getting into photography are buying mirrorless cameras and they're just using the screen.
Because in that case, it's the same thing, right?
Yeah, you could totally use the screen. But there's something comfortable about using a viewfinder.
It's more like a nostalgia thing than it is actually useful.
It's really useful when you're in broad daylight, really bright daylight. It's really useful because the screen gets
Washed out.
You can't see it. So viewfinder is useful in that situation. Other than that, not really. I mean, it gives I mean, there's no real advantage to using a viewfinder over the screen,
So
but
him and
it's
I
just
have
kind of
talked
more of a
about this.
comfort thing.
And I feel like sometimes, like, because I'm like, every time I take photos, I like use the viewfinder.
Yeah.
And so he was like asking about, he's like, how is it any different or better than the screen? I'm just like, I don't know, but like, even after you ask me that question, when I'm there, like, it feels so much more comfortable to be looking through the viewfinder. And not only that, but I feel like in terms of like, I think there is something nice about your eye is right there, so that becomes your world. And so
It
as you're
does
trying to
isolate
frame
the
your
world.
shot, you're like, you're only seeing what's in that shot. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Rather than like you're seeing everything and this square here.
Yeah, I can definitely see a benefit as far as like blocking out everything else. But with a mirrorless camera, that seems to make more sense to me. Because when you're looking at the mirrorless
I mean,
and looking at the screen, it's the same
You
thing.
can still,
Yeah.
it's the same
what I
thing.
But it makes more sense that just blocks out the world. But on a DSLR, when you're changing settings and shit, you don't see that in the viewfinder. So it almost seems like there's a huge downside to using the viewfinder.
So I'm gonna like direct or come off this topic for just like for people who are not like super interested in the technicalities of cameras, like, but just on a more like whatever level. I don't know what to call it, but like,
Basic?
let's say you were talking to not basic, but just like
Normie.
no higher than that. You know, I don't know how. There's like a word on the tip of my tongue. The point is, if you were talking to somebody who's like just picking up a camera and wants to get and actually, you know, everybody has cameras now and they're taking pictures all the time, but somebody who's like says, hey, I would like to take better pictures. I take a photo and then I look at a photo you took, and for whatever reason yours is better than mine. I don't get it. Why? We're just using, even if we're using the same camera, and they're interested in developing, like, where would you advise somebody start? Like, what should somebody do to become a better picture taker or photographer?
I'd say there's a handful of things. Like one of the things I do a lot is constantly look at inspiration. And I think Instagram is not a good place for that.
Really?
It's actually too flooded with a bunch of bullshit. So I'm on Instagram way too much, and I spend a lot of my time there. But I think it's a really bad place if you're looking for inspiration specifically. A good place for inspiration is looking at magazines, and like there's blog posts. What's the name of the website? There's a photographer I really like who does street photography in New York, named Joe Greer, Greer. And he's been recently publishing some of his work on a blog where it's long form. So there's like 160 photos. And then you listen to him talk about the process of taking those photos and like why he took them and what he felt while he was taking them, and why certain ones are his favorite versus other ones, but why he thinks like this one has some issues, but because of the emotion of this, like it's stronger. And they really dive into like what makes their work a certain way. And there's multiple different
No, why do you say
outlets.
magazines?
A lot of photographers really like to publish their work on in magazine form or a photo book, because it can be something that lasts longer than like a swipe of your screen, right?
Yeah.
And then it's not a website, right? So like your website's used as like your portfolio. Other people look at it if they're interested in hiring you. But if you're really proud of a body of work, if there's like something that relates in all the photos, it's all about like one subject, then a lot of times they'll produce like a magazine. And there's tons and tons of magazines out there that are phenomenal from artists that you've never even heard of. But if you're interested, I highly recommend finding a bookstore that's near you that sells photo books, and even just walking in and finding photos. One of my favorite photo books I own is from Sammy Davis Jr., which people...
Random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he took lots of photos of celebrities and artists, because
As he was also both those things.
He was both those things. But he did it more of like a fun thing. It was something he did as another outlet for him. And he sat down, or like he has an amazing body of work with all of these celebrities and artists that feels extremely natural. And the only reason he could do that was because he was natural with them. And a lot of people try to make work that's like that, but you have to invest in the relationships before you get there. And you can't just like walk up to someone and expect to get like a perfect candid of them that is going to get like
you go try to take a picture of someone, they're going to go like this.
Yeah.
For the podcast
Yeah,
listeners,
and so-
let's do the traditional peace sign pose.
Peace sign.
Well,
Peace. Yeah, so like that's one of the interesting things is I love looking through that book, because every time I look through it, I find something new and a different photo jumps out at me. And for whatever reason, I'm like really drawn to it and I study it. If I pause on a photo, I try to realize why I paused on it. Like there's something that made me want to stop for a split second and like analyze it. So like, why did I do that? Was it the lighting? Was it the composition? Was it just the subject? Did it have something to do with the backstory of the photo? Am I feeling some emotions from the photo? Pretty much every time you see a good photographer work, their published work always portrays some emotion. And the reason that's so is because they invest in their work and they do a lot of pre-planning. Sometimes that means having a relationship with someone for a year before you take a photograph of them.
Her whole relationship's a scam.
There's
It's just to get that
Just
perfect picture.
what do you call it from Lost? A long con.
A long con. Yeah. The whole
You're just
thing,
trying to get the perfect photo.
Hey, buddy. How you doing? You want to go down to the bar?
You just
in
like-
your head, you're just like, I hate this guy. Fuck this guy. I just want to get that good picture.
You're planning some like weird chance meeting where you like both drop your books at the library or like in the
Oh my
hallways.
god.
Like,
Oh, meet cute.
yeah, let me cute. Oh, accidentally put your hand on their hand and like, oh wow.
Build a relationship for a year. Invest in a
Become
business
roommates.
together. Become roommates. Yeah. Buy a TV. Split the cost. And a mini fridge. You know.
get a mini.
Then you
fridge.
get that one picture and you fucking leave, disappear forever.
Like,
like a
whatever.
ghost in the night.
Like Ghost in the Night. Whatever happened to that guy? I don't know.
Oh.
Then you see that picture on Instagram and you're like, you weep, like you just weep
One
uncontrollably
single tear.
because that picture was just the most beautiful picture you've ever seen of anything, and it's you, and you're like, oh my god, that he was my best friend. I'm glad he left because I couldn't look him in the eye now.
So the point is, all photographers are sociopaths. That's what you're trying to say.
That's right now the strongest episode title.
All photographers are sociopaths.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm gonna write that down.
We say that like 10 times in an episode.
I'm
We
always
do
like-
have more limes. If you would like, if anybody
yeah.
wants to juice said limes,
Oh yeah. Oh
we
yeah.
have
I could juice a lime.
6.
oh,
Here
Ryan
are
can juice them.
3.
What
3
happens
is
to
enough.
the ice?
Yeah.
The owl of ice is
right
next
there.
to Ryan.
Oh hey.
Can you hit me with a little ice?
Yeah, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, that ice
Plunge
is
into
he
the
has a
owl's
knife.
head.
All right.
All photographers are
Are
sociopaths.
sociopaths. Got it. Let me get some of that owl of ice while it's
yeah.
over here, Wes. Yeah. Now, outside of photography, sorry, I'm just like rapid fire questions. You're like trying to eat a
Yeah.
sandwich.
Yeah, I'm eating super slow.
Outside, you want that? Outside of photography, I know you are also into imbibing in the alcoholic beverages and such.
You
now,
calling him an alcoholic?
no, because then I have to call myself one as well. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, there's a stigma. I get it.
Yeah. It's whatever. It is what it is. There we go. I didn't add any more lime. Maybe I'll do a trickle of lime after you squeeze a few. Now I didn't ask you before. So normally we have just whatever drink the guest picks on the show.
Yeah.
In this case, you chose a whiskey mule,
Yeah.
but which is just a common drink. People
Yeah.
know what a mule is. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
But I didn't ask, and probably because I didn't want to. What whiskeys are the top for you? The best. Sorry, the top. You can give me like the
You didn't want
ridiculous.
to ask because you didn't want to not buy that whiskey.
Yeah, because I didn't want you to be like, oh, well, I
But
like
you didn't
the.
wanna buy that
and I'd be
whiskey
like,
either?
It's $80. I'm like, fuck that. We're getting Evan Williams.
Dude, if I'm talking like top whiskeys that I could.
So give me top whiskeys and then top accessible whiskeys.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Because my top
So you're like,
whiskey,
Pappy Van Winkle. And you're like,
my top whiskey is Macallan.
okay, Scotch.
I'm a big Scotch
Which
fan.
one?
25.
Okay, it's a lot of years.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever had that.
I've had a sip. Like, by a sip, I mean like actually a sip. So I worked at Bevmo, which you guys out here do not have.
Right, which sucks.
Yeah.
By the way,
What do
finding
you
liquor
mean,
here
you
is a pain in
people?
the ass. Southerners.
Yeah. But in California, we buy our alcohol at gigantic stores instead of small liquor stores.
As is the American way.
So I worked there for a little bit over 2 years. I was the beer manager. But
It's
in
kind of a
that
cool
time,
title.
Yeah, what a great
I
title.
like that.
Because it could also mean you're an alcoholic. Well, what do you do? Beer manager. Oh, wow, that's cool.
How's your marriage going? Yeah, not great.
Not fantastic, yeah. Ever since I became the beer manager, she hates that title.
What about just like you're like an accountant, but you just make your wife call you the beer manager? Honey, call me the beer manager. I'll be in my easy chair. Bring me a Pabst.
Ew, no beer manager would drink a Pabst, okay?
Yeah, a real freaking low down.
True, original beer manager would.
Dude, I'll drink Pabst.
I mean, I'll drink it, but like, if you're calling up the beer manager and then you're drinking Pabst, I feel like, step your life up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Get a stone,
I do live in the beer capital of the U.S. So.
of the world.
Yeah.
Of the world. San
the
Diego
world.
is the craft beer capital of the world.
Yeah,
Of the
craft
world.
beer.
Of the world.
I like that this is one of the rare episodes where the guest doesn't fight the San Diego love.
That's true. They're like, why do you guys talk about San Diego so much? I'm like, you'll get it. It's fucking awesome.
But on this episode, it's just like, yep, no dissenters here.
Yeah, we're like, San Diego's awesome. Wesley's like, yeah, it's fantastic. Like, great.
All right, we can move on. We can get another topic. That's all we wanted.
I mean, in the building I just moved into, there's a brewery opening on the ground floor, so...
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's literally the level of craft brew that is at in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
You rent a new apartment, and the ground floor of said apartment is a brewery.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Oh, God, I'm jealous.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
What brewery is it? Is it something new, or is it like a chain?
No, in Pacific Beach, there's a restaurant called Taproom Brewery.
Yeah. Taproom.
Yeah. They're opening a new location in North Park that is going to focus more on their own beer rather than guest beer, which their previous location kind of does. But they have 50 taps. 25 for them, 25 for guests.
25 for them.
25 for them and
Like they have-
25 for guests.
I think just having as a new brew, or I guess newer brewery.
I mean, the head brewer used to work at McKellar and AleSmith.
Okay. I like AleSmith. AleSmith's always good.
Yeah.
Always good stuff.
McKellar's fantastic,
I'm not
too.
sure what do they make that I would know.
So, Windy Hill, maybe? McKellar is interesting because they're a Norwegian company, I think,
Okay.
originally. And they had a very small brewery, tasting room there. And then their very first location that they opened, or the next location they opened, was in the U.S., in San Diego. And now they have 2 locations in San Diego.
They're like, man, people really like beer.
one
We need
in-
a second location.
One on Brewery Circle, like up in Kearney Mesa. And then they have one in Little Italy. But they're freaking killer. They're fantastic. But their San Diego brewery is like independent of their
really?
original brewery. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you looking for in a beer, Wesley?
Dude, it depends on my mood. I drink everything, excluding.
All right, that's the good shit. What do we want to know what you're excluding?
Excluding pale ales.
Really?
Because
What do you got against pale ale?
Because they just didn't go far
they're
enough
just-
to be an
yeah,
IPA.
exactly. They're boring as fuck. Like, who wants. Okay.
I hear that.
If you
I've had
want-
some good ones though,
I
but
feel
I,
like
hear
a pale ale. I mean,
You're like-
I'm an IPA person. I'm IPA.
I like
Yeah.
for sure.
I like your theory here though.
Yeah, you're like, I want something
Like the busted.
citrusy, like really crisp,
Yeah.
with a bite, maybe a little bit like, what's the word? Yeah, maybe a little bitter, depending
Earthy?
if it's a hazy
Ergonomic?
or a murky or whatever. But it can you want something like that, so you go to IPA, right?
But if you want a little
But,
less of that bitterness, that's where the pale ale
But no,
fits
then you just go to a hazy or a murky IPA.
I do love hazy IPAs. Hazy IPAs are like just fucking delightful.
And then there's milkshake IPAs.
I don't even know what that means, but I'll drink it. It's a bitter milkshake.
They add lactose powder.
Oh,
to
I
it.
have it an IPA with lactose, is how it's
Yeah.
advertised. That was interesting. We had that on the show
So-
a few months back. You remember that?
It mellows
Kinda.
it mellows it out a
Yeah.
ton. So what you end up tasting is the hops, and not a lot of the malt, and the hops come through, and then it gets like really, really, really smooth. It's obviously really thick, hence milkshake.
Sure.
Right?
Right.
But yeah, they're great.
Huh. Man, I'll throw that out. Now here in Nashville, there are a number of breweries, not anywhere close to the dominance of San Diego's amount of breweries. And I've found that most of the local beer I've had here is not great. Not great. Not fantastic. And there have been some
Except Bearded Iris
Except
Homestyle
Bearded
IPA?
Iris. No, everything Bearded Iris makes, in fact.
We had Bearded Iris last night.
I
Okay.
really dig the Bearded Iris stuff. That's what I was going to say. You should try it while you're here.
I
Apparently
did.
You did.
I did. Yeah.
What do you have, the home style?
Yeah.
That's
I
like
think
their,
so.
that's like their
And I
just
think
regular
I
IPA.
had them last time I was in town, but I don't
really?
remember what I had from them.
They have well, at least last I heard, they have all IPAs and one stout. And that stout is a strawberry stout, and it is delightful. It is just delightful.
Wait for it. Lightful. That should be your new thing.
And I can't just
You say
steal it.
delightful so much. More than
I
any
find a
other
lot of things
living
delightful.
person. Also, you're
More
the only
than
person
any
I know
living
who,
person.
yeah, I've heard almost nobody say delightful, but you on a regular basis say, I'm delightful.
I am delightful.
You say
to be
that.
fair. I am delightful.
At first you're like, I've never said
That's true.
I am
100%. I'm delightful.
I am true.
It's absolutely true.
Corey Beth, can you confirm that jury talks about being delightful at work?
I say
Oh, we're getting a thumbs up from Corey Beth. It's something you say all the time.
Is it that much?
Oh yeah. It's at least, I hear it at least once a week, and I see you about 3 times a week.
Maybe it's a lot.
So that's why
be fair,
you should
though-
start saying wait for it, lightful.
The thing is, everyone
Delightful.
knows that that's just a ripoff of Barney Stinson. You know?
That's fine. That's fine. He's the man. I think he's fair to rip off. He's fair game.
Is he?
Yes, everybody loves
Says
Barney
who?
Stinson.
Yeah, everybody. But it doesn't mean he's fair game.
When you
to
say
rip off
he's
for-
fair game,
Yeah.
it kind of sounds like a gay thing.
Well, he is
He's
gay.
gay. Yeah.
Well, I know, but
He's
that's
also
why-
He's not
the
gay,
president
the
of the
actor's
Magic
gay.
Castle.
What's Magic
Neil
Castle?
Patrick Harris.
You
We
don't
need
know
to
the
separate
Magic
Barney
Castle?
Stinson from Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
They're
Barney
different.
Stinson is
Yes,
not
is
character.
not gay.
Neil
Yes.
Patrick
Harris
Harris
is not
the
gay,
actor.
but Neil Patrick Harris, the actor, is gay.
Yes.
No, Magic
But that's what I was saying is like when you
Castle-
said that, like it sounds like a gay thing because he's gay. It sounds like you're interested.
But wait, what does?
I don't remember.
Whatever you were saying. But
You've had drinks too.
we've gone through most of that bottle. We're
Oh my god, is that the whole bottle's in there?
Yeah,
Oh
we're
wow.
goddamn professionals here.
Didn't the show just start? Like
It's been an hour.
an hour. 1 hour and we're that far into the bottle? Damn.
I've only had 2 drinks.
I'm gonna have to get another bottle.
The 2-bottle podcast. That's when we shut down.
Up our stakes, yeah.
If we go to the 2-bottle podcast, we gotta shut
That's
this
when we
shit
just check ourselves into like rehab. Okay, wait. So let's go back to photography.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we're with young high schooler Wesley, and you're just like, I like taking pictures. It's fun.
down.
Yes.
Is that the accent he had when he was young in San Diego?
No, no, not at all. I was probably like, dude, taking
Bruh.
pictures is so cool. Like,
And
So, I
so
went down to Rigoberto's.
Rigoberto's.
hey, let's go
the
to the
red
barn.
salsa is the best part of Rigoberto's. So then, how do you? And then you become really passionate about it.
Yeah.
So like, tell me about why you're passionate about it now. After like how you've been doing it for like maybe a decade ish. So like, why do you still care about taking pictures? In fact, you seem more motivated to take pictures right now than I've seen you in years. It's like, why are you so motivated to take pictures of people? Haven't you taken enough pictures, Wesley?
No, absolutely not. I mostly like taking pictures of people. So like portraits is kind of more my thing.
Which a portrait just means, for the dummies out there, it just means, sorry, now it's like, for the uneducated photographers, it just means a picture of a person, right? Is there more to it than that?
Yeah, picture of a person. But to me, people, I think it's currently the view of a lot of people in my generation and the generation under me that,
Which you're a millennial, right?
yes, sir.
Okay. Just had to check. You could be pushing Gen Z. I don't know.
No, you're not that
92?
young.
Born in 92? No.
Okay, millennial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gen Z is like
Hardcore,
2000
straight
and
up.
up.
Yeah.
You would love to have wood paneled walls, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Millennial. What does Gen Z want on their walls?
They don't want walls.
They don't want walls.
They want to be unconstrained by the rules of this society, Ryan.
There you go. There you
They don't
go.
know what they want.
That's more like it. Okay.
I work with them all day.
So you wood-walled millennial.
I just feel like It's generally a popular belief that humans are bad, or like not good in general, right? Like we're fucking up our climate. We're terrible to our animals. We don't care about politics.
Or we care about politics way too much.
Yeah, it's one or
You
the
know, I thought
other.
people were fine until you
it's
started
just-
listing all the reasons we suck.
Yeah, and it's just like this is the generation growing up. Like this is their perception of
A really
like,
negative view of humanity.
yeah, it's very very negative. But when I think about like all the people I've met in my life, for every bad person that I've met or every really terrible encounter I've had with someone, I've had 15, 20 amazing encounters with people. You can run into someone randomly and just like kind of speak your mind or share something you're going through, and they're gonna like genuinely care about it, or want to help you through that because they've probably been through the same thing. People are my belief is that people are good, and it's the bad people that get a lot of attention. And people interest me like a lot. Everyone's got a super unique story. Everyone looks different, and everyone has a different plan for their life. And if I'm
Or
gonna
no plan at all.
yeah, or no plan at all, right? Like, which
Gen
is totally
Z,
fine.
We're
I've-
looking at you.
I mean,
Dude, we're starting to. I'm becoming old.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel
You're
old.
old.
I'm starting to like enjoy making fun of the next generation. That's the sign that you're old.
Yeah. When is the youngest millennial? How old is the youngest?
I think
It's
that's
somewhere around
Steve Jordan in Point Loma, Texas.
Point Loma, Texas.
Loma, Texas.
Yeah, what the fuck? You could have just said Point Loma, San Diego.
You never
Yeah.
heard of Point Loma, Texas? It's a small town.
But like, what is the age range? 'Cause I know it starts like the.
It's supposed to.
like
It's supposed to be
84-ish.
around like 2002. I think is like when things
2002.
things switch.
You're
yeah.
telling me kids who were born who are currently just turning 18
if
are
you
still
look it
millennials?
up, if you look it up like around 2000 2002 is
to
like
Wesley's
when,
discredit, I feel like that's too late. But to Wesley's credit, we looked it up this morning at breakfast, and that's what the website said.
Hey, Connor Chester.
But as we said at breakfast,
yes.
the range is a subjective, made up thing, and different people call it different things.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Clouded Jester says, since America is unique in this regard, go to other countries and think it's strange that we're so social. Some people think it's because we're a nation of immigrants, and so we got used to or like grew a culture of having to be social, introducing ourselves to people and randos.
What? Really?
This is his
is this
take.
person
Some
from
people
an-
think.
Is that person from another country?
Yeah, he lives in California.
It depends on
Because we try to create
like
new
what country you
relations.
go.
Oh, so another country.
because
Dan.
I've traveled a lot, and it totally depends on what country.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And I am very racially and should I look at this camera?
Say racially
I'm very
ambiguous.
racially ambiguous. So wherever I travel to, people think I'm from there. I went to Israel,
Really?
and they
Been to
thought
China?
I was a Jew. I've not been to China.
They would not think you're shy.
I've been to London. They think I'm from there. I've been to Rome and Florence and like
Well, now
parts
you're
of
just
Greece.
bragging.
Yeah, so I'm flexing. Yeah, let me flex.
Are you flexing?
But the point being is that I've been to all these different places, and like people think that I'm from there, and they'll speak to me in native tongue and just like expect me to understand, and I'm like, dude, I don't even speak Spanish, and I live in San Diego. Like, what? I'm a white boy.
You probably speak more Spanish than you think.
No, I don't though. I
Yo,
don't.
so I know speaky Israel.
Wow.
What was that,
That's horrendous.
dude? What?
Well, I visited, before I was married to my current wife, she moved to China.
Current wife?
Yeah, my current wife.
Oh man.
Is there a past wife, or will there be a future one?
Well, you know, time will tell.
All right,
Damn.
current wife, you see, watch your P's and Q's.
When we were still dating, she lived in China for a year. and I went and visited out there. And I did meet some cool people. Like a lot of people we met who were cool. And I'll tell you about one cool guy. But a lot of times I speak zero Chinese, not one.
Yeah.
There's zero Mandarin, I guess.
Yeah, Mandarin.
Or any of the other dialects for that matter.
Cantonese or
Right.
whatever.
There's others. There's a lot.
Yes.
But those are the two big ones, right? And my experience when meeting random people on the street was, okay, let's say you are in San Diego and someone comes up to you, speaks
Yes.
100% Spanish and no English.
Okay.
You will still try to communicate with them.
Yes.
You're gonna make hand signals. You're gonna talk louder for no reason.
Yeah.
You're gonna, you know what I mean? You're gonna do your best.
Yes.
And slow down and like,
You're like,
I don't.
are you looking for the Taco
speak
Bell?
Spanish.
But when I was in China meeting people, the response I got a lot was stare at me and say nothing until I walk away. And it was so awkward.
You
Well,
think they were
then
trying to
hey,
get you to
do you
walk
know-
away?
Then you can go to France, and France
to
is
France.
very different.
Yeah, they were just mean.
Well, it depends.
Paris.
It
I was in
very,
Paris.
Yeah, I was in Paris.
I've heard it's different when you're outside of Paris.
It depends. It depends on the person, right? So Paris is like weird in the sense that they have what's the word when you're like
Mean.
shit, I can't think of the word. When you're like really proud of
Arrogant.
yeah, they're kind of arrogant, right? It's not the word I was
Ego.
looking for, but
Egotistical.
yeah. So imagine
Pompous.
you gonna keep
Regal.
going. Keep going. Keep going. Give me more. Give me more.
I'm trying to find your word for
Yeah.
you, man. It's not my fault your brain sucks.
Yeah, my brain sucks. That's why.
It's from all that liquor.
Yeah. But in Paris, the older the generation, the more this is true. But they have a belief in the same, like, it would be like someone from France coming to the U.S. and expecting everyone to speak French and getting really upset at someone if they didn't speak French.
But it's a little different, right? Because English is the most spoken language in the world.
Yes.
Well,
I know.
wait, hold on. Sorry, the most widespread language. I don't think
Yes.
it's the most spoken. I think that's
Okay.
actually Mandarin.
Okay.
Isn't it? Isn't it most people speak
It might be.
Mandarin?
It might be Mandarin. Yeah.
But English is the most widespread. You can go to any country and
Yeah.
someone's going to speak English.
yeah. But that's
Not true of French.
that's just their like high ground, right? They're like, oh, like we're not some third world country that like Americans go to give us their
there's a
money,
pride
you know,
there.
like they're
Yeah.
prideful, and so we speak French. You're in our country. You speak French, and that's more true of the older generations. So if you speak to a younger person.
Where everybody's Mr. Worldwide now.
I actually spoke to a few people when I was there, and they were saying that that's like starting to change now. That belief system, but that's just how things are now. Regardless, people were still really nice. If you make an effort to talk to them,
I mean, I'm a
and
loud American.
I'm
exactly who they hate. I don't,
can't speak a lick of French, but I Googled a bunch of stuff and I did my best to try to communicate with them.
Yeah.
And tried to be as nice as possible with my body language and the way I approached them and all that stuff. And they were willing to work with me and they were nice. I had no bad experiences.
I will say every time I've met a French person not from Paris, they've been like the coolest. And I've asked them about, because I don't mind, I just bring shit up.
Yeah.
And I've said like, hey, when I was in Paris, everyone was an ass to me.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, fucking Parisians. Like, even they don't like the people who live in Paris. But, like, outside of Paris, apparently everyone's, like, super cool. But, like, other French people have told me, like, ugh, yeah, gross, Paris people. But,
It's
I
like
get
how
some ice?
you feel about LA.
Owl of Ice. Yeah, LA's the worst.
Oh, LA's the worst city.
A hot pile of garbage,
I
right?
hate LA.
Can we just talk about how terrible LA is for a minute?
Yes.
God damn. I mean, the smog,
Maybe I
the
could get into
rude
this.
people, the crowded... Sorry, Corey Beth, I know you're going to LA in like a month. The people are mean. Everyone's fake. It's so expensive.
Yeah.
So much traffic.
Yeah.
Burn it
The
to
traffic is so bad.
Oh my god.
Okay, so San Diego has traffic.
Yeah.
But it's
not anything in
it's
comparison.
pretty easy to navigate.
Yeah. Nashville's traffic, I think, is worse than San Diego's.
Oh.
I think it's more because the city's designed poorly than it is
Okay.
because of the amount of people.
Well, it's just like if there's gonna be traffic. Like, you just know. And you like you go around it.
Right, you know there's traffic between like 3 and 6 is gonna be pretty busy on the freeway.
It makes sense. And there's certain segments of freeway that are always like jammed up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so you can plan for
Do
that.
you mean John Parked?
What?
Have you not watched The Californians on SNL?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Don't take the
I've seen, like,
405.
one of the-
That'll be John Parked.
John
It's
Park.
it's New Yorkers trying to pretend to be Californians for comedic effect. So it's like super over the top. But anyway,
And then you're giving us the transcript of said skit.
The
and we're not gonna-
5, the 15.
Just jump
Oh,
on the
yes,
5
that's
and take
you
us to
mean the correct way to
405.
speak?
Yes.
That's correct. Yeah,
Yes.
I was literally talking about this with somebody today at work. I was like, it's weird. You wouldn't say I went to grocery store because I went to the grocery store.
Yeah.
I drove on the 5. I did not drive on 5.
Yeah.
I did not drive on 40.
Yeah.
Drive on 5 sounds like a news program.
Yeah. Today on Drive by 5. Drive on 5.
On Drive on 5, we've got an update. There's a traffic jam on 5.
I think I have a discussion about the way things are said here at least once a week with people at work.
Yeah. It's weird. You really haven't adapted to Nashville very well in your 2 years. You're just like sticking to your guns about your ways better.
It's not that I'm sticking to my guns. It's that some things are just incorrect. For example, in San Diego, there's a street. A long street goes through El Cajon.
El Cajon Boulevard.
Not that one. That's a good example too, but not. I'm
Okay.
going for more extreme. It's long, starts with a J. Goes through El Cajon. There's an Outback Steakhouse on it.
Dude, I don't go to East County anymore.
Gross. Okay.
It becomes 2nd Street.
Does it?
Yes.
Oh, Hamishaw.
Hamishaw. Now, how is that spelled?
Dude, I don't know.
J-A-M-
Jamica, maybe?
Yeah, and people who visit, they say Jamaica.
Yeah.
If you ever see people say Jamaica Street, because that's what it's spelled like.
Yeah.
But we say Hamishaw.
Yeah.
Why do we say Hamishaw?
Because it's the correct pronunciation.
Because it's in
Yeah.
Spanish. It's a Spanish
Yes,
word.
it's a Spanish
Isn't it
word.
an Indian word?
I
Just
don't know.
like
I just assumed it was Spanish.
El
word.
Cajon.
I think it's an Indian word.
El Cajon,
Yes.
the box,
Yes. La
Is-
Mesa.
the table.
Yes.
Yeah, La Jolla, or not La Jolla.
Yeah.
Why do we say it like that? Because that's the language the word comes from, right?
Yes.
So, such cities, such as, where baseball bats are made? It's a famous company that makes baseball bats, Blank Sluggers.
Dude, you are.
They make wooden
you're straight
baseball
a
bats.
card game at this point.
Dude,
in
I
time.
don't know.
It's like
Okay, you've never heard of a
like you're-
Louisville Slugger?
Oh, yes,
Louisville
I have.
Slugger. That's how it's
yes,
pronounced. Louisville.
Slugger, yeah.
You know how they pronounce it here?
Whoa.
All right, that's pretty fucking close.
not far off.
It's pretty close. They say Louisville. I was like, that's incorrect. I don't care if that's what you say where you're from. It is a French word named after not King Law, King Louis. It's Louisville. I don't care how you call it. It's just wrong. Feel better now. Get off my
I'm
chest.
glad about that. Wow, that's great.
He had a panda rant.
A panda rant?
Oh. I mean, this goes back to
Panda
what.
rat. Oh yeah,
Our very-
Travis Bird.
Okay. So how
They're
I got
very
to
similar.
How I got to know Ryan was his very
Good
first
full circle.
Yes.
Wow, I'm
Yes.
usually the one who does that. Thank you.
Yeah.
What? Pull it back?
Yeah.
I try to pull it off track as hard as I can, as long as I can.
So
The
Ryan
year was 2012.
Was it 2012? Mm-hmm. Oh. 2012.
Space Odyssey.
Ryan decides, I want to move to Nashville. He invites a group of guys. 2 of them decide they can't come for extraneous reasons.
Bullshit reasons.
Bullshit reasons. And so Ryan's stuck in a situation of like, wow, now there's only 2 people that can go on this road trip.
Me
that makes,
and your cousin Travis Bird.
that makes things a lot different. Plus more expensive. How
You
can
invited Wesley to make it cheaper?
It's only part of the reason. The other reason.
how can like I navigate this situation? So you invite Alex Carr, who
Who I knew very well.
who you knew very well and made a lot of sense. And then you invite me, who I've never.
I knew you a little.
At that point in
We'd heard of each
like
other.
our friendship,
I'm just
like
kidding.
I had just heard of you and maybe talked to you maybe once.
Now, to be fair, this
I
is
was your
not
small
the
group
only
leader one time.
Ryan's gone on road trips
Yeah.
and he barely knows.
True.
It wasn't with Michelle that one time. That was the first time we ever hung out with her.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a thing you do. Go on road trips with
And
anyone who will come.
we become close.
Yeah, it works. It works. It's, I mean, it's
But-
a great way to
but-
build relationships,
but-
kind of.
Yeah.
Stuck in a car together?
The other reason he wanted me to come, besides the reason that it would make it cheaper, was that he was planning. He hasn't ever done anything with all his footage.
Oh, right. I forgot about this.
Not planning. I did.
What? You didn't do anything with this?
No. I.
It's a work in progress.
This is semantics.
Okay.
I was and a little bit have, but mostly just was filming a documentary. Mm-hmm. The documentary was about how to become like a producer engineer.
Yes.
And for that documentary, I interviewed a lot of producers and engineers about like, hey, how do you get into this? How did you do what you did? How do you become this? Blah, 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 etc. And then I decided that I wanted a narrative for it. And so I started filming my journey of moving to Nashville and trying to become a producer. And I filmed it really I filmed a lot of my life for like 3 years. And then since then, I haven't really, but from time to time, I've done an interview. And by the way, I also do videography on the side. And like, so I have all that video kind of cataloged of projects I'm doing, etc.
Yeah.
And the plan is to one day take all that footage and create a documentary that's sort of half interviewing professionals, like people who've already made it, and like how do you become this? And then the other half is kind of like following my journey of becoming that. And then it'd be put out as like a documentary for like educational purposes for people who are interested in doing what I do. But back then it was like what I hoped to do.
Yeah.
When I started filming, it was like,
Yeah.
how do I become this? And now it's like I do that. And anyway, so the thing is planning. I'm just correcting you on the planning because I did film for a long time. I haven't been recently, but I will still one day edit that thing. I'm just kind of waiting on when I have time / to like have a good ending. I'm kind of waiting for when I get the part of my career where I'm like, this is a good ending.
We're gonna all be on like 12K,
And that's fine.
Yeah.
and you're
That's
gonna
fine.
produce like a 1080p video.
People are going to be like, what is this garbage? They're looking
Yeah,
at like VHS.
but it'll be like putting out a 16mm film. It'll be like super artsy and retro. And it'll be like, whoa!
They only showed it at the Belcourt.
Somebody, yeah, exactly. Somebody put out a 1080 film. Oh my gosh, we have to go see
So
it.
vintage.
Yeah.
He recorded it digitally? That's weird. We record things in space-time now. I don't know why you would do that.
But yeah,
It's so cool.
like-
It's so artsy that he's used like pictures rather than holograms for this. I think that's just amazing. That is when I'll put it out. And so anyway, I'm just saying. So I was filming a documentary about my
Yeah,
life,
and I had
a
a
big
camera.
part was making
so that
a road
was a
trip.
big part.
Yes, it
The
was.
reason was he had a camera.
yes.
I'm
Well,
moving-
it wasn't. No, it wasn't just that you had a camera.
It was also that it would be cheaper.
And it was that it was free.
Thank you. You understand. You understand. I still had to pay for this trip. I contributed to everything.
Hey, and you had to work. And
Yes.
you didn't even know the guy.
I didn't know the guy, but for some fucking reason, I said yes.
But
and
also,
it happened.
but also, you were good. That
yeah.
was the other thing too. I was
Yeah.
like, Wesley's good at this stuff. I could have him come and do it. And you were down. Here's why you were down. It's super fun. You're traveling across the country with people that you knew a little bit.
Yeah.
And then secondly,
I knew
visit
Alex
Nashville. How
the
cool is
most,
that?
but barely.
I know. Third,
That's it.
you were interested in doing films. You were super into it. When I asked you, you were like, "That sounds fun."
Okay. And then Travis went on a panda rant. I feel like you would do better
About the
at telling
panda.
this
Is it
story.
about?
No, it's
wait,
been
hold
too
on.
long
Is it
now.
about how the panda should just die off?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard this. I've heard it.
It's like
I don't even know if I disagree.
It's a canned speech he has.
Yeah. What state were we in when
Oh,
this
Nevada.
happened?
Drunken.
Was it Nevada?
Nevada. We were in Nevada. We were in Vegas. We were in a casino hotel.
No,
or
it couldn't have been
casino,
Nevada because
and we were at Panda
he went
Express.
on and on about. No. That was the first panda rant.
You saying there's more?
Yes.
I mean, I've
we
heard
were
more.
in Vegas at Panda Express, and
Yeah.
he went off about how pandas are bullshit because he was staring at a giant panda on the wall of a Panda Express
yeah.
in Nevada. But then he had another panda. Oh, no. It wasn't the panda rant. It was the God sends everyone here to die rant
Wyoming.
in Wyoming before we
Oh.
got to South Dakota.
Because
When we
Wyoming
were in
sucked.
Wyoming, he ranted about how bad it sucked.
The
for
Windows
about an hour.
XP hill.
The Windows XP hill is in Wyoming, like the real one.
No. I don't think it
I think
might
that's
be.
South
I
Dakota.
don't think it's a real picture.
Okay.
I think it's like a digitally
Wyoming.
created image.
So,
Why-
like,
I
you know
think
the
it is
Windows
real.
XP hill.
yeah.
And when we were driving through
Which what
Wyoming,
that means for people who don't know is when you got Windows XP, the default desktop background was a picture of a hill.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was just a perfect green hill with the sun behind it, and that's it.
Yeah, it's just basic.
Yeah. But while we were driving through Wyoming, there was nothing. There was no signs. There was no turnoffs. There was very few exits, and for hours, we were going through that.
like
And
driving
the
through the
only thing you could look at was the Windows XP hill. It's just
But according to
perfect
Travis,
green hills.
This was part of his rant. At
Yes.
least in the desert, it's blah, blah, blah. I forget what he said about that. He was like, the desert, it's a landscape. It has something. This isn't even that. It's blah, blah, blah. Like, he went on about how it was hell on Earth.
I know how he goes on. I've
And
known
he
him
said,
for
and he
my
said
entire life.
God's people started when they got to North America, right? They started on the East
When
Coast.
God's people got to North America.
That's
When did the Jews get here?
This is what Travis said. When God's people got to North America, they worked their way west. They hit South Dakota, and then they saw, oh shit, this is boring as fuck. Like, why do I want to live here? I'm gonna die if I live here. I'm staying in South Dakota. All of God's people stayed in South Dakota, and the rest
The
of the
heathens
world,
moved on.
the rest of the world moved on because there's nothing in Wyoming for miles. I think we stopped at a gas station.
we saw
We saw
two little kids.
a family bring their kids in a minivan to the gas station in full, like, bathing suits, like swimsuits.
This is true. This
Because-
sounds like a lie, but it's real.
because there was a puddle in
No.
Puddle
in the parking
asphalt.
lot.
The asphalt puddle.
No.
And they came out and they went swimming.
No.
They went
Yes.
swimming in the
Yes,
puddle.
they had floaties.
No. This is not real.
Yes.
This did not happen.
It happened.
Yes.
We witnessed them.
How big was this puddle?
I don't believe it myself,
Yes.
but we both remember
Yes,
it. It
yes,
must have been true.
Yes.
No.
There was a puddle in a gas station, and God knows where in Wyoming. Freaking
No.
yeah.
A town so small that when we were in the gas station, we saw their local newspaper, and the front headline image was local 5th grade class graduates,
As opposed, because most years they don't.
and it had all the pictures of the graduating 5th grade class. Like, congratulations, class of 2012, for your 5th grade graduation. That was the headline news of the day. And in a town like that, when you need to go to the beach,
Puddles are king. That's the title of the
Puddles are
episode.
king.
Puddles
Yes.
are king.
Yes. Puddles are king. I like shit that's really obscure.
They listen to the whole episode to understand.
Yep.
That's when you've earned the right to understand.
And for you who are listening to the podcast and you were wondering why it's called Puddles are King and you just got here, congratulations, you
You've
made it.
Yeah,
You've done
you've
it.
made
Whoa.
Puddles.
it. Yeah.
I can't even.
No,
It's not. I cannot let myself
Fathom.
believe
Fathom
that
is
happened.
the word you were looking
I
for.
cannot
I
let
couldn't
myself believe that
fathom,
it's
yeah.
real.
No, it was real. 100%. Kids came out of the fucking van with floaties on.
Now, was it like a crowded puddle? Like a bunch of other families there?
No.
No, that's why it was so great. It was an open puddle. There was no
wow.
one else there. They had it all to themselves.
At the max, it was 6 inches deep.
Yes, and maybe like 10 feet
Just
long,
dirty,
12 feet long.
Yeah.
like gas station
Yeah.
groundwater. It's like
Yes.
half oil.
Yes.
How is this real? But it is.
Are you sure?
That's Wyoming.
Make sure you guys didn't talk
And
about this
that's why
later. Like,
Travis
clean it
ranted.
up.
No, it was very, very real.
Dear God. I'm not going to Wyoming. It's off my list. I'll go to 49 states. You know what I mean? Like, I'm taking that one straight down. That's awful. So Wyoming was trash. How do we even get on that? I have no clue where we started.
Because Wesley and I became friends because I invited him on this trip.
Road
Yeah.
trip.
I invited him on this trip.
And then Ryan moved back to San Diego.
We did, but that was later.
Yes.
4 years later, I moved back to San Diego.
16.
And I called Wesley up, and Wesley came on that trip too.
Yeah, because I'm a real bro.
Real well.
I
By that time, we'd become friends.
Yeah. By that time, I actually knew Ryan. And wait, when did we live together? Like, when was that?
After I moved back to San Diego. I mean, I lived in a few other places first, but maybe
So,
a
like,
year
I
to it.
moved you back, and then we ended up living together shortly after,
Probably
right?
like 2017, we became roommates.
Yeah.
And Travis Bird, your cousin, was also our roommate. there,
Yes.
Right,
too.
And he had a really bad habit.
I believe
really
you
bad
mean all his
habit.
habits.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
I also lived with Travis for many years.
But
I'm
specifically,
well aware.
specifically, he would do this thing where he'd make food in a crock pot at the beginning of the week. Ryan, do you remember this?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. He would make food in a crock pot at the beginning of the week, and he would portion it out for his lunches.
Sure, seems reasonable.
Yes, very reasonable. Except he
I
would
know where this is going. I know him so
He
well.
would never-
he left it in that crock pot and
he
it
would-
molded, didn't it?
No,
No,
beyond
yeah, almost.
molded, it would get
Beyond
fucking
mold.
maggots. It would
Maggots.
get maggots.
One day, Wesley and I were in the living room, and we saw a maggot on the ground.
No!
In the,
Yes.
in the living room.
Yes.
So we followed it. We got it, and then there was a trail of maggots, and we
Yeah.
followed the trail of maggots back to his crock pot, which was full of maggots.
Yes. and that's because I always told Travis, I was like, I'm not gonna do your fucking dishes. You're a grown ass man. Do your own dishes.
You told
And-
him that?
Yes.
Like always?
I told him that multiple times.
I never
like,
heard you say it to him. So
Well,
not always.
You weren't there half the
Sometimes.
time.
Yeah, you weren't
It's
there.
true. Well, I was working.
Yeah, but I work from home, so it's very different for me. And I had to work in a maggot-infested home, so how does that feel? Like,
During the day, we cleaned up all of Brian's trash.
oh, dude, oh my God.
Brian
He
had this
moved
habit
in.
of buying like 12 packs of cans.
I remember this
They're
house.
like
There was like
cardboard.
a pile of cardboard stuff.
Yeah,
I
there was
remember
a
that.
pile
Yeah.
of cardboard.
Yeah. People
2
would
feet
order
high of cardboard.
They would order shit, but never break down their cardboard and put it in
Amazon
the
packages.
trash can.
They just put it in this one corner and it became the cardboard pile. And one day, Wesley and I just were over it. And so we went and we broke down all their cardboard, spent a good half hour cleaning all this cardboard, putting it into the dumpsters, and then talked to them this corner will never have cardboard in it again.
That's
Anyway, then later we both moved out of the house and then, I don't
fair.
know.
Well,
we
I don't know if
left
I can beat the maggots.
Yeah.
But one time, so for the people who don't know, the church we used to go to, they had this yearly giant garage sale. And at this garage sale, I purchased a
Which was garage show. It's
it was a
rummage sale.
fundraiser.
Everybody
to, help
brings
kids
their
raise money
stuff.
for camps and stuff.
They donate their stuff so that kids can raise money for
right.
camp.
It's a great event. It's
Oh,
great.
you're
And it's
talking about
massive.
Foothills?
It's so much cool stuff.
Oh my god! It's probably
the best garage
10,000
sale.
square feet.
Yeah, it's massive. it's
man.
crazy.
Yeah, if you're talking about Foothills, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
it's
talking about
huge.
the rubbish sale. Yeah.
It's massive.
So I don't know why I bought this, but it was like a metal vase. It looked like an urn. Where you keep dead people ashes. It looked like an urn. So I had this urn, which we called the urn. And in this urn,
Which we call
Travis
name.
decided, well, if we have an urn, it should be full of ashes.
Is that
and-
where all his cigarette ashes?
No, this is pre him smoking that much. And so what he decided to do was, hey, instead of taking out paper trash, we will just burn it in this urn.
What?
And so he filled it with paper that we were
What?
throwing away and lit it on fire in the living room. And it just smoked like you would expect it to do. And there was just our whole house full of smoke forever. Our house smelled like smoke for like a month. Didn't work. Also, we decided we were both into hobbies and shit. And we both took up, can you half shutter me? Both took up a hobby that we could do in the house. We wanted to make things.
Okay.
I decided to take up metallurgy.
Okay.
Metallurgy.
That's very
What are you
random.
in the
And
1400s?
so I would take a tin can
Yes.
and fill it with pennies.
Okay.
And melt said pennies.
Yes.
And try to create things. Didn't work.
Yes.
Okay.
So you had your own forge.
No, I tried. Travis would decided he wanted to make candles, but he didn't want to buy any wax.
What?
So he'd go to College Group and pick up the wax drippings off of the College
What
Group
the
candles
fuck?
and keep it all in a bag, and then buy wicks and molds and try to make candles on our stove.
Did he put scents in it at least?
No.
What?
It's unscented candles. And so...
What's the point?
But here's the thing. Here's what you don't know about candle wax. Candle wax sure does melt, right?
Yes.
At a certain temperature, it ignites.
What?
Yes.
No.
And
No,
so
no,
him
no,
trying
no,
to cook
no.
candles or make candles on the stove turned into a giant fireball that scorched our entire kitchen, like ceiling black, all the blinds in the kitchen black from soot, and this giant fireball that erupted from all this wax he was cooking.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Insane.
What?
We should have Travis on the show at some point. He has nothing music or entertainment or media.
He is just the most
writes, I guess.
interesting human in the world.
He's an odd guy. I like him.
So,
Photography.
yeah, to kind of round trip here, as we're drawing to a close.
Okay.
Just to round trip a little bit.
We haven't finished the bottle.
Yeah, here, give me
We
some
got
of that.
to. If we could just talk a little bit about for people out there who are interested in pursuing a creative career
Yes.
or even a creative hobby.
It's super difficult. It's not easy.
What would you say to them for somebody who wants to get into the creative field?
Don't.
No. I mean,
Got the owl.
Let's just assume, for sake of the negativity that's already been brought into this, let's just assume that that they're going for it. Mm-hmm. How would you advise them to proceed?
I'd say find a group, find someone, find like a person or a group of people that really inspire you, that are better.
So that's interesting because you talked about inspiration earlier.
Yeah, I think that's a major, like a major influence on what you're doing, is at least for me. I mean, I don't know about other artists. Like, I feel like every artist is different, but for me, I constantly have to be searching for influence, because I don't feel motivated unless I look at something that really makes me want to go out and shoot. And then when I get out and shoot, then it's a whole different world. Then I'm geeking out about how the shadow from this stupid tree is hitting this brick wall, and I'm like, oh my God, that looks amazing. Like, I just want to take a picture right there. And if you go to
Is
my
inspiration how you feel like keep feeling interested in things like that? Because I think that's interesting that you can stay interested after all these years. Like a shadow from a tree would make you geek out. Is
Yeah.
the inspiration what keeps you feeling that way?
Sort of. I mean, I always have the same feeling, but when I see something that really inspires me, it makes me get up off my ass, grab a camera, and go. Because even if you see something in real life, and you're just driving, right? Say you're driving, and I see that same shadow, and I'm like, oh, that's a really cool light. Like, it'd be cool to take a photo of someone there. If I see somebody else take a photo and they've used like really creative lighting, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, I should be doing that. That's how I feel. And it forces me to get out of the house and like go do things. I'm very nonchalant. My personality is like, I kind of just roll with
You
things.
have nonchalance.
Yeah. I just roll with things as they come, and I've invested in like a gigantic bookshelf that holds all of my way too many cameras. And and lenses and all that stuff, just so for the main purpose of if I find inspiration, that it takes almost zero effort to
You're already prepared.
Yeah, to grab something and go. Because I think for a lot of artists, inspiration is like momentary. Like it doesn't last very long.
I don't think that's. I mean, maybe it is more artsy types, but I think people in general, like that's a huge thing people run into. Is you're like, I'm inspired to do whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, I want to get into this, or I want to pursue this hobby or business or career, and they're like, and they're so excited about it. But then it's like there's all these roadblocks.
Yeah.
And they're like, I can get over those, and then they kind of just fizzle.
Yeah.
Because of all that. So you're taking those roadblocks
But like
away.
that's like the whole point of like what I've been trying to do for the last couple of years is trying to remove as many roadblocks as possible to make it as easy as possible
So you can just enjoy it.
to create
Just do it.
to create work, because once you start creating work, it feels amazing. Even if you're bad. I remember I had my very first camera and I didn't know how to use a camera, and I was trying to take a picture of my friend on the roof of my house with the moon behind him, and like I thought it would be cool as like a teenager, and like I'm sitting here laying on my roof for like an hour trying to do that. But the only reason I did that was because I had a camera in my hand and my friend was there and we had nothing to do. There was zero roadblocks. It was just like, what are we going to do? Oh, let's take some photos. You have a camera. Okay, where are we going to go? I don't know. Like, let's climb on my roof. Oh, it's nighttime. I don't know how to take photos at nighttime. I'll just figure it out. And we just figured it out. And the photos came out terrible. They were awful. But it felt really rewarding. And I think that is like what like an artist should try to do, is like, even if you have like a bad idea, just freaking go for it. Like, don't second guess yourself. If that means you have to do this, and this, sure, do that. But like, if there's zero roadblocks, what does that mean for you, right? Like, is it only one step instead of 3 steps? So that's like what I've been trying to do, is like remove roadblocks, because I think a lot of creative inspiration comes spontaneously. And I think, what was your question? Your question was for like new photographers or new
Creatives.
Yeah, new creatives. I'd say like just find a group of people that you feel inspired by, that you know are better than you, because those people are going to influence you in positive ways. You're in a completely different industry than me, but it's constant that I look at your work and what you're doing. This is dog girl talking, man. Yeah.
I love you.
But I'm always like, I know Ryan stays up to this time, and he works his ass off, and he does this amount of work, and he invests his life into the artists that he's working with. Like, I want to be like that. So like, how can I do that? And for me, the answer is removing roadblocks and surrounding myself with an inspiration, so that when I feel inspiration, I can just go do it. And
Yeah, I feel like that's a big thing. Like, just on the practical
Yeah.
side, just making it easy to do something when you think of it. And that's like, I'm slowly moving that way in the studio. The cameras can't see any of the part where the instruments are, really.
Right.
Other than this piano. But,
And we can see those organs in the other shot.
oh yeah, that's true. But I don't have it completely down, but I'm working on and continuing to develop having the studio set up to where it's not that hard to get something up really quick. Like, to get set things up so that your technical things are taken care of very easily. Because I think when you're a beginner, you focus a lot on the technical, and you think a lot about f-stops
100%.
or a gain.
yeah,
you
100%.
know, or compression
Yeah.
and all this stuff and lighting and everything. And it's all really, really important. You have to like learn that stuff, but you need to get to the point where it's second nature. And then everything's, you eventually get to a point where everything's just easy to access and you kind of know what you're doing and you're not experimenting
gaming.
quite as much, but you're just going out and
You understand
executing.
Yeah, I
So
see what
that-
you mean. Yeah.
So that when the inspiration strikes, when somebody's ready to give a great vocal take, or somebody's just like, they just discovered a new part on the guitar, you can record it right then, and it's not going to take you an hour to set it up while you nitpick everything.
Yeah.
Because sometimes just catching somebody in the moment.
It's
that
really
inspiration's new is
good
great,
to
more
know the
important.
technical things. And I
You
feel
have
like
to.
when you're starting in anything creative, right? You're fascinated by the technical because it's something you don't know. And it's something to learn, and you feel like if you learn the technical, it will make you better. That's just the way things work when you're new to something. If you can get to the point where the technical becomes second nature, like you were saying, then it really allows your creative mind to kind of take over. And I think I've been really trying to work, and I think it's important for a creative to create an environment where the technical doesn't get in the way of what inspiration / like a feeling they're getting, right? Because if you have a feeling, you don't want to think about like what technical things do I need to do in order to make that happen, right? Because there might be like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 steps to make that happen. But if you just know how to do that, or if it's already staged for you because your younger self did that for you, thank you, younger self, right?
Thanks for yourself.
Like you can just do that and get that out of the way, and now you're in a complete creative mindset where all I'm focused about is the product. Like, what's going to happen here? What music am I making? What photograph am I making?
Yeah.
In this shot, in this video, like why should I be worried about what frame rate, what ISO, what shutter speed, or even like color profile should I be in? Like, I don't need to worry about that. Like, that should all be set. I should be worried about what's in the background. What emotions are those portraying? Why is that guy doing this? Like, when the person walks up to him and starts talking to them, how should that look? How should their reaction be? Because it should be more like I should be more focused on what's actually happening on screen than the technical aspect. And when you're newer to things, you're really worried about the technical aspect. And so, like, if you're doing audio, right? Like, I'm just kind of reaching, like, kind of out there. I don't know music as well as probably most of you do, or you do. But you have a vision for a song, and this is your plan, and you want it to sound like this. You should just be able to make it sound like that without like a lot of thought, or really any thought. It should just be like like second nature, right? And that's when you can really get into like a flow of like, what is my artist doing? What do I want them to do different? What emotion is this portraying? Like, how can this be different? Like, maybe we can try some weird off the wall thing, and maybe that works. But you're never going to get to that place until you nail the technical aspects. So, like, I guess in some way, like, study, like, work really, really hard, spend a lot of fucking time on YouTube, because I know I did. One of the things I did when I was new to photography is I would find photographers that I was really interested in and screenshot a photo that I thought was interesting. and then I would edit a photo that I thought was similar in lighting and composition and try to match that. And the only reason I did that was to learn how they got to that to that
I think
step.
that's a real commonality in creative endeavors is like in early days, you're just imitating
Yeah.
to learn.
Yeah.
Nathan Sepulveda imitates a lot. That guy's never had an original thought.
Not even one time, huh?
Not even once.
Wow.
Well, he's glaring
It's
at
too
me.
bad
Wait,
he's
is
not
he
here
still
to
here?
defend
I
himself.
can't see him.
Friend of the show, Nathan Sepulveda.
Nathan, I disagree with what they're saying.
Oh,
You're amazing. I love you. I'm sorry.
same. What are you wanting to finish the?
No. We'll let Wesley finish it if he wants more.
Oh wow,
Oh, I'll finish it.
finish it. Do you want to drink straight from the decanter?
Sure.
Like a goddamn
Seems
professional
like
liquor drinker.
a faux pas. And I think a real common theme on this show is exactly what we're just saying. That a lot of times in early days you're focused on the technical, but
It's really
in
important.
later days
It still is important. Like
all those things are really, really important, but like they're not as important as the art you're capturing.
yeah.
But you have to become really good at that stuff to where you can just you don't have to think about it that much, and you can do it quickly and get past it and not
So-
obsess over should it be a little bit
So
brighter,
going
a
back-
little bit darker.
Going back to your original question, what's my suggestion?
What's your mission in life? Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
is
kidding.
spend a lot of time on YouTube because YouTube is fantastic. And there's way too many tutorials out there that are just amazing. And learn how to use every program that your industry is expected to use to an extent that it becomes like an extra hand.
Second
Like your second nature. You're not thinking about it. And then once you get to that point, then really think about, what am I doing? Why am I doing, why is this a thing? Like, why did I want to work with this artist? Like, what do they bring to the table? What do I bring to the table? All that stuff. And that's when you start digging up interesting thoughts of, and where to go creatively, because the technical aspect is not in play anymore. The technical aspect hinders you.
Yeah. Okay. A few rapid fire questions. 1, top 3 favorite photographers of all time.
I knew you were going to ask
And
me
you're not allowed to
this.
say the one that everybody knows.
Really? Because I just came up with it 10 seconds ago.
I really knew you were going to ask me this.
Dude, you should have thought about it then.
What's
you
the
had a
one everyone
prophetic
knows?
gift.
Oh, Ansel Adams?
Yeah,
You can't say
Adams.
that. Because that's the only one normal people know.
Yeah. Damn it. That's who I would say. My grandma, I actually have an attachment.
See,
Think
that's
about your
way
answer.
too-
I have an attachment to Ansel Adams because my
way too
grandma
complicated.
had his photos at her house. She had all the
that's cool.
range of light photos. I don't think she still does, but when we were younger, she'd have
Oh, that's cool.
all the
like
Yosemite
originals?
Oh,
I
I,
mean,
don't
prints
think
or
so.
whatever, right?
Prints.
The
I think
prints, yeah,
prints.
yeah,
They
yeah.
were really nicely done, I'm sure.
I mean, but they technically aren't all original photography work prints.
In a deep way, yeah.
No, I mean like not in a deep way at all. Just they take the picture. It's not like you get the actual
It's not like you're
memory
buying a
card.
negative.
You're buying a
No,
printed version.
not memory card.
You're
with
negative.
Ansel Adams,
Yeah,
negative.
negative.
Yeah.
Whatever. They're all prints. There's no original. This is the first print.
The first print.
Is that the original?
I think so.
Is that the one that's worth all the money?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
This is all print.
Could ask
not like a
Wesley, but we
painting.
already asked him a cake question.
Yeah. Top 3.
Top 3.
That's too hard.
You have 8 seconds.
God.
Just list 3 you like a lot. How about
Yeah.
that?
Oh, that's a good that's a good way to do it.
Okay.
3 you like a lot. Don't have to be the best.
So Vivian Meyer is up there.
Oh yeah, good old Viv Mine.
Yeah, classic.
So
I love her work.
she's known.
Oh yeah, her.
She
Okay,
shot
good.
a lot of black and white, but she also shot a lot of color. And
I believe that's racist, but that's fine.
damn, she she had a decent amount to do with like the color movement, because what's
It
interesting.
was a movement.
Yeah,
It
was a
wasn't just
movement.
like, hey, there's color now.
Yeah,
Obviously,
you-
we're
yeah.
all doing that.
You know how
No.
like in
No,
like
no, no.
the 50s and earlier, the world was black and white.
Right.
Yeah, right. You can tell something. She had a big part in pushing us towards technicolor. Yeah, she founded that.
She was like, what if our shirts had color?
And it was like,
We talk over guests. It's what we do.
yeah, it's kind of our
No, I
thing.
like it. Yeah,
You love that.
Yeah.
So
But
tell
you can't
me,
Vivian
You can't just
Meyer.
complete
the
every
whole
episode, the
has
whole
been- It's been a
episode.
foreshadow.
Oh, I get it.
A foreshadowing.
That's fair. That's fair.
I like Vivian Meyer a lot because she did a lot of black and white. She also did a lot of color, and there was a couple artists that were involved in this. It was interesting because when color became a thing, it was.
What a weird thing to say.
I know, it's really, really weird. And like when color photography became a thing, it was perceived as a not as professional medium, and more like documentary and less
Art.
art.
Interesting.
She had a lot to do with that movement, even though there was a few other photographers that are really big, but I think that she's really good. All of her work is really good. And then I don't know how to pronounce his name.
And he's one of your top three?
Wow. Well, no. We downgraded to just people you like a lot. Take the
Yeah.
pressure off the top three.
And he's
Can
one
you
of your
have to
people
me
you
for
like
one
fun?
more time?
How would you
Just
pronounce?
give us more than enough time. To
How
wrap
would
up.
you pronounce that name?
Schumacher. What do you mean?
Yeah, but
Shoemaker.
the first name.
Ewan.
Okay,
Ewan Schumacher.
that.
Obviously.
Elon?
Everyone. Ewan with a W.
Him, and I think at the moment, I really like Joe Greer's photos. And I mentioned him earlier.
Yeah.
Um,
Man, you know what we should have done that we didn't even think of? Probably because this was last minute and not that planned out. We should have had some of, like, your photos ready to, like, bah! But you can paste that
put
over
on
the
the
YouTube
screen.
maybe. Maybe throw a few up. People can see what you're about.
you don't want to see my photos.
I think the
Which,
whole point of
speaking of,
photography
where
is
can
that,
people
yes,
find you
people
on
do wanna see
Instagram?
it. Yeah, where's all the places people can find you?
Yeah, so at _ Wesley, WESLEY, bear, like the animal.
_ Wesley Bear.
Correct. _ Wesley Bear.
Was Wesley Baer taken?
Yes,
That's why I had
Wesley-
an underscore.
Wesley Bear was taken. I am not that famous or important to have Wesley Bear, or Wesley for that matter. Wesley,
I mean, the only the true
Is-
Wesley is the Wesley from
is
Princess
Prince
Bride,
Wesley?
obviously.
no, but
Prince Wesley?
From Princess Bride.
but
Right,
Wesley,
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. He's
King
not a
Wesley.
prince.
He's just Wesley.
He's just Wesley.
The Dread Pirate Roberts.
Yeah, exactly. Dread Pirate Roberts.
But Wesley on Instagram is actually a really big photographer.
And weirdly enough,
who
he
shoots
chose Joe. I don't know why he chose Wesley.
and he's fantastic. Actually, like he's in the conversation because I love his work too. I don't know if it's like really hard for me to boil it down to like three
Yeah.
artists.
That's okay. That was a good boil down. You thought about that a lot. It's good
Yeah,
shit.
because like my wife is really mad at me because I weigh too much, but I also buy too many.
You weigh like a $110. Like, what do you mean you weigh too much?
But I also buy way too many photography books. So our bookshelf at home is full of photo magazines and books. And like if you look up on Instagram, just Wesley, he's a fantastic photographer who shoots film, which I highly respect, and does a lot of work for a lot of really big people. And he has a very interesting way of documenting just life.
Okay.
Joe Greer is also that way. Vivian Meyer is that way. It's hard for me to choose a favorite photographer because I'm inspired by them all.
That's fair.
And at different moments, I feel inspiration from one of them more than others. So I don't know if I can just say like, here's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Did you
I
put
think that'd be
Sammy Davis Jr.
unreasonable to
into
ask.
that?
Yeah, I mean, like, I look at Sammy Davis Jr.'s photo book probably more than anyone's. It's the biggest photo book that I own, and it's on my coffee table every single day. So I look at it all the time. So he's up there. But at the same time, like, he's an artist in multiple ways. So that's, like, really interesting. I don't know. Like, it's okay to receive inspiration from different venues. Sometimes I've decided to make a photo based off of a song. Like, a song has a certain mood and will do certain things and say certain things that I'm just like, I want to make a photo that I think relates to this song.
Oh.
And it's super subjective.
I think that's a really cool thing about how you work. Like, you seem to do a lot of things instinctively in the creative process that I think are like tools, but like it's just like who you are to do that. And I think like mixing.
Why do you think I went to
mediums-
Nashville with you?
Because I needed money.
Yeah. No, I
Mixing
do-
mediums is a great way to come up with new ideas.
100%. Yeah.
I do have a follow-up question.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Should I stop playing the Jaws theme then?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay. What's the follow-up question?
No. The follow-up question is the question. This is what I was getting at. But, so here's the... so, here's the thing. This is related.
Yeah.
I mean, only a little bit, but it is related.
Okay.
It's a question we ask every guest. Every guest we ever had on the show, we ask this question to. And what we have
I
learned
feel pressure.
is that everybody has an answer.
Okay.
But not everybody knows what that answer is in their mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
This is by far the most important question of the night.
Correct.
Okay. Now, if you had to choose,
And you do.
and you do.
Okay.
Now, one thing to note about this question, maybe the most important thing to note, is that the answer must come not from here,
And for the podcast listeners, he's pointing to his head.
Yeah.
but the answer must come from here.
And for the podcast listeners, he's pointing to his heart.
That's correct.
I beat you to it.
You think you're so
But
good.
the thing is, how that plays out practically is I don't want you to think about your answer.
Okay.
You are an instinctual guy.
Yeah.
I want the first thing that comes
100%.
to your
Yeah,
head.
okay.
You can
The
do
absolute
this.
first
You
thing
can do
of
it.
all
Give
the
it
people we've had on this
Give
show.
it to me.
What you have said leads me to believe you will have an answer.
Okay.
A great one.
Dude.
If you had to choose.
And you do.
And you do. What would you say is your favorite kind of turtle?
Snapping turtle.
Snapping turtle!
Turtle, why?
Why?
Because they got a really strong ass jaw and they can swim. And like most turtles can't
I mean, that's
swim.
fine.
Dude, don't
That
give
was
me that.
fine.
Don't give me that
That was super
bullshit. Like
I'm just saying
most
snapping turtle is the most common answer we get.
As experts in the topic of how people answer the
Hey.
question, what is your
Hey.
favorite turtle
But-
on the spot to the Jaws
I've been going
theme
snapping
song?
like the last like
But-
We can tell you.
8 times.
Yeah,
I've gone
snapping
snapping.
over and over and
But-
over again.
do most of your podcast interviewees
Sure.
own a turtle?
Do you own a turtle?
Yes, sir.
You have a turtle? Is it a snapping turtle?
No, sir.
Wow, that's rude.
It's a desert turtle.
A
Desert turtle would have been original.
Wait.
We've never had
Is it
desert
a tortoise?
It's a tortoise, yes.
Not a turtle.
Not a turtle.
A
but
desert. There's no such thing
tortoise.
as a desert turtle. Turtles need water.
Okay,
Tortoises don't.
Turtles
I mean, they need
need
to like drink
turtles
water.
need water, but yes, but they're like the same. Come on.
Oh my god. That's fine. It's just we get snappy
It's
live.
it's 110 pounds and it's
No, it's
only
fine
4
answer.
years
You,
old.
you were fairly quick with the answer. I appreciate it. You did a good job. It's just
Don't
I
give me-
expected a lot.
hey.
I just expected more.
Don't give me that bullshit.
I just thought
Fuck
you'd be
you.
so good. We just thought you'd be great, like really good at it.
You could have gone with Ninja
I
Turtle.
own-
You could have gone with Squirtle the
I
Turtle.
own a
You could have gone with
turtle.
Galapagos.
I own a fucking turtle. And this turtle will outlive me.
It will. Turtles live fucking
Yes.
forever.
When did you get a turtle? I've never seen your turtle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you have a turtle?
I
Did you
will
have it this
explain.
whole time and you didn't
Yes.
show me? You didn't
How
show
have
me
you
your
not
turtle?
seen this
Do you
turtle?
not trust me?
Erica,
I thought we were friends.
Erica, my
Not
wife,
friends enough for the turtle.
my wife,
His sister.
my wife's. No, not his sister. That's your wife. Wait, what? That's so backwards in so many ways. What the fuck?
The whole
a
bottle
deep-
podcast.
No.
That's a deep podcast.
That's a real
reference.
deep podcast
That's
reference.
a deep
Yeah.
podcast reference. If you watched our show, you would get it.
Yeah. Every episode.
Okay, because his wife is your sister. That's like so backwards.
Exactly.
and, Like,
that was the point.
That was the
Okay.
point. Yeah. That was the,
Whole bottle podcast.
we're back to it. We're back
back to it.
again.
Yeah.
all I'm
It's been a
saying.
while since anyone been drunk during this show.
But does anyone that you've interviewed own a tortoise or
It's a
turtle?
good question.
I don't know. Maybe we should ask that as a follow up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
fuck them because I do.
Sure.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. I'll give it to you.
So
You
it
own
would have
a
been better if
tortoise.
you
And
would
I
answer
feed
something
it
like the
lettuce
one
and
I
flowers
own.
Yeah.
all the
What's his
bitch.
name?
Artie.
It would have been better if
Ooh,
I
I
said,
like
"What's
that.
your favorite turtle?" and you went Artie.
Yeah, that would have been a
But
great
no
answer.
I would have been like,
perfect
"Damn."
answer.
Everyone would have been like, "What the fuck is Artie?"
Well,
That's
no,
why
explain.
it's great.
Yeah, it's unique
That's
and
why
special
it's
to
great.
just you.
Snapping's so basic.
Everyone does
but
snapping.
can bite your
box.
penis off.
Is that why you like it so much? Do you have something to tell us about?
I don't. I still have my penis,
Do we need to call Erica?
I'm gonna make
but
this
they're
the
kind of
title
crazy.
episode.
All right.
Title of the episode is "I Still Have My Penis."
We've had 3 titles for this episode so far. Like,
Most episodes have about
Yeah,
2
a
to
bunch.
3.
There's a lot.
Yeah, that's true. And then I make something else up later.
Yeah, then you forget what we talked about and just write some bullshit.
Yeah.
but
But usually they're pretty
I
good.
own a turtle or tortoise.
They're
Right.
different.
Yes, they're very different. But I own a tortoise.
They're the same,
They're
But
very.
different. Yeah.
Favorite movie in the world.
The Interview.
That's a great movie.
Christmas Day, when it came out.
Thanksgiving Day. I'm pretty sure.
Thanksgiving? No, Christmas.
come on
It was
Thanksgiving?
Christmas. Yeah.
It was a
I re-
holiday. I
I
don't
recall
remember.
it was Christmas. So the Interview, if you don't know, was Seth Rogen and James Franco,
Great movie.
and
Hilarious.
the plot of the movie is that they're going to assassinate Kim Jong Un, and so North Korea was pissed about this because Kim Jong Un is the leader of North Korea,
Yes.
and so they were like, "Oh
I like how
hell
you're
no!"
giving this backstory, but everyone knows it.
Everyone knows who Kim Jong Un is.
Not every,
Yes.
It's years later.
That's
Trump's
true.
our
If
president.
you're watching this in the year
Everyone knows who
3000,
Kim Jong Un is.
Kim Jong Un. And so the point is that they North Korea said like they threatened like if Sony releases this movie they'll do bad things, and so Sony was pressured and they didn't release the movie. And North Korea sent hackers to hack Sony because of this in retaliation.
right? There was like illegally downloaded copies because of that
Yes.
available online.
And so
all
finally,
over
what they
Netflix.
decided to do was they decided we're going to release it on Christmas Day for free. We're not actually putting. It was going
It
to be
wasn't free.
It was going to be $5.
Yeah, it was $5 rental,
It was
yeah.
going to be
Yeah.
a theatrical
We paid-
release, but they pulled it from all the movie theaters
paid the
and instead
$5.
released it online. And
On
so,
YouTube, weirdly enough, is where you had to rent
yeah,
it
on YouTube.
originally. That was
That's right.
It's like the first time I ever rented a movie on YouTube.
And so Wesley and I on Christmas Day we got together and we were
Yeah.
like, we have to see this movie that was banned. When has that ever happened?
Yeah.
And so
And
we,
it was the best movie
it
of
was
all
because
time.
it was
Hilarious.
banned. It made it even better.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Dude,
anyway.
just
But
put it up again.
We are we are same, but different. That's where that's from.
Yeah.
So-
same,
But anyways,
different.
it's about time for us to.
We gotta bring this to a
wrap it up.
close,
But,
but-
remind everyone where they can find you.
And more importantly, really quickly before
Oh,
that,
yeah.
we go out on a song. What song do you
Yes.
want to go out on? What's your vibe, brah?
Dude, I don't have a song.
Just pick a song, dude. Any song
Dude,
to summarize Wesley.
my song's gonna get
Bon Iver.
banned.
That's fine. I don't care.
But
Eh,
just
it's
jury
fine.
care.
Our YouTube's
We're,
not
we don't get,
monetized
yeah, it's
anyway.
fine. Yeah, we're not
Okay.
monetized yet anyway.
Asia by
Heat of the Moment by
Moment.
Asia. Awesome. Please
Cue up Heat of the Moment.
by Asia. This is gonna be great.
All I think of is Lost.
I love this song.
Wait, no, not Lost. No, Lost. Yeah. And Lost. Don't they come in on that? No, what's? It's a repeated. It's repeated.
You all, everybody.
No, it's Supernatural. In Supernatural, no. The Groundhog Day episode,
Oh yeah.
the mystery spot. Every
Yeah.
time Dean wakes up after being killed, it's Heat of the Moment.
Oh really?
Right? And he's like, and they have an argument about Asia.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it
we
is.
gotta watch that episode again.
That's a great
it's so
episode.
good. And I've only seen it once.
I've seen it like
But
9
it's
times.
a better song.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
But anyways, guys, is that queued up? I can't see behind
Hey
me.
dog, I'm seeing a strong nod.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, guys, where can all the people find you?
At
I know we just said it, but let's do it again.
_ Wesley Baer for all social platforms.
Ooh, wow, consistent.
Consistent as fuck. Yeah. At Wesley Baer.
And as always,
underscore Wesley Baer.
at underscore Wesley Baer.
Yeah.
Very important.
At _ Wesley Baer. I also feel the need to explain my name.
Yeah, okay.
Pretty self-explanatory, but they don't know.
But my actual first name is Oren.
Oh yeah, I always forget that. Every
And
time someone calls
I've
you
heard that
Oren,
before too, and I didn't remember till you
confused.
mentioned that. So maybe not.
And my
what I was
dad
thinking.
is Norwegian. And
Mr. Choir Jaws
he's
theme?
super white. And so Oren means pale man.
Which you aren't.
Really?
Yes, I'm not. And Wesley means from the west.
Huh.
So your
Yeah.
name's just
Pale man from the west.
Pale Man from the West.
Baertsch.
Yes. Which I'm from the west, but I'm not pale.
I think isn't Oren the name of that creepy dude in Parks and Rec?
Yes.
Oren.
Oren is the weird name for everyone.
That's fair.
So I've never gone by Oren, but _
I
Wesley
couldn't
Baer.
see you as an Oren.
Wesley
just makes so much
Baer
sense.
_ Wesley Baer.
Like the animal bear.
Growl.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna save that as a soundboard
Sound
button.
clip. Growl. But anyways, also make sure we're live almost every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can also follow us on all the places. The Instagram, you can go to the Hideout, musicalhideout.com, and see the website for the studio and the page for the podcast. And you can hang out with me during the week on twitch.tv/ObadiahX. But anyways, guys, thanks for coming to hang out, as always. And we'll see y'all again next time. And that's where you cue the song. I don't know if you did it, but that's where you do it.
Lonely, lonely, everybody that I meet is lonely.